The Curse of the Haunted House. Once upon a time, nestled in the heart of a dense and eerie forest, stood a haunted house. Its walls were cracked and weathered, its windows boarded up, and its roof caved in from years of neglect. No one knew how long it had been abandoned or what horrors had taken place inside its decaying walls. Despite its ominous presence, the villagers couldn't help but be drawn to the haunted house, as if a dark and powerful force was calling out to them. But as soon as they stepped foot inside, they knew that they had made a grave mistake. The air was thick with the stench of death and decay, and shadows seemed to lurk around every corner. It was said that a curse had befallen the house, one that trapped the souls of those who dared to enter. They would be tormented by their worst nightmares and haunted by the ghosts of the past. Many had tried to lift the curse, but none had succeeded. One day, a young woman named Isabella came to the village. She had a wild and adventurous spirit, and the tales of the haunted house only intrigued her more. She had heard that the curse was so strong that it had driven many to madness or even death, but she was undeterred. As she approached the house, she could feel the hairs on the back of her neck stand up. She could hear the whispers of the wind and the creaking of the old wooden boards. But she knew that she had to enter, no matter the cost. As she stepped inside, she felt a chill run down her spine. The air was thick with dust and cobwebs, and the darkness seemed to swallow her whole. But Isabella was not one to give up easily. She drew her sword and held it tightly, ready for whatever lay ahead. At first, she thought it was just her imagination, but soon she realized that she was not alone. Shadows danced along the walls, and she could hear footsteps echoing through the empty halls. The haunting whispers grew louder and more intense, and she could feel the curse taking hold of her. But Isabella was not one to be defeated. She pushed forward, determined to break the curse and lift the darkness that had consumed the house for so long. She searched every corner and every room, fighting off the demons that lurked within. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, but Isabella refused to give up. Her willpower was unbreakable, and she was driven by a sense of purpose that could not be quelled. And then, one day, she found it. A small wooden box hidden away in a corner of the house, with a note inside that read, "Break the curse and set us free." Isabella knew what she had to do. With all her might, she swung her sword and shattered the box into a million pieces. And in that moment, the curse was lifted, and the haunted house was no more. The darkness that had consumed the house for so long was replaced by a bright and warm light. The walls were no longer cracked and weathered, the windows were no longer boarded up, and the roof was no longer caved in. And in the middle of the room, a beautiful flower bloomed, its petals shining like diamonds in the sun. Isabella had broken the curse of the haunted house, and in doing so, she had also broken the curse of her own life. She was no longer afraid of the darkness, for she had faced it head-on and emerged victorious. And as she left the village, her heart was filled with a sense of purpose and fulfillment that she had never known before. She knew that she would face many more challenges in her life, overcome them. And she left a message to the villagers: "Do not fear the unknown, for it is only by facing our fears that we can truly break free from the curses that hold us back." The villagers watched in awe as Isabella disappeared into the horizon, her silhouette gradually fading away until it was no more. And they knew that her words were true, for they had seen with their own eyes the power of courage and determination. From that day on, the haunted house was no longer a place of fear and darkness. Instead, it became a symbol of hope and inspiration, a reminder that even the darkest curses can be broken with enough bravery and perseverance. The villagers worked together to restore the house to its former glory, and it became a place of peace and tranquility. They planted gardens and flowers around the house, and it became a sanctuary for all those who sought solace and healing. And the curse of the haunted house became a distant memory, a story to be passed down from generation to generation. But the legend of Isabella lived on, a testament to the power of the human spirit and the courage to face even the most terrifying of curses. For Isabella had not only broken the curse of the haunted house, but she had also broken the curse of the villagers' hearts. She had shown them that there was nothing to fear but fear itself, and that the greatest gift one can give is the gift of courage and hope. And so, the legend of the curse of the haunted house became a story of triumph over darkness, a story of hope and inspiration that would be told for generations to come. And the villagers knew that they owed it all to the brave young woman who had dared to face the curse and emerge victorious. And yet, even as the villagers celebrated their newfound hope and joy, they could not forget the brave young woman who had brought them out of the darkness. Isabella had left an indelible mark on their hearts, a mark that would never fade. As time passed, the haunted house became a place of pilgrimage, a place where people would come from far and wide to pay homage to the young woman who had broken the curse. They would leave offerings of flowers and candles, and whisper prayers of gratitude and reverence. And even as the years went by, the legend of Isabella only grew stronger, until it became a story of almost mythical proportions. People would tell tales of her bravery and courage, of her unyielding determination in the face of adversity. And though Isabella herself had long since passed on, her legacy lived on through the countless lives she had touched. Her spirit remained alive in the haunted house, a testament to the power of love and hope to conquer even the darkest of curses. And so, as the sun set over the village and the last rays of light flickered across the windows of the haunted house, the villagers knew that they were blessed to have been touched by such a shining spirit. And they knew that, as long as they held on to the courage and hope that Isabella had given them, they would always be able to conquer the darkest of curses and emerge into the light.